Hello and welcome. My Vinyl Revolution Record Fair, of course, happening once again for 2025, the second one of the year at the Capital Brewing Co. off Derry Road in Fyshwick of our nation's capital. And of course, it kicks off at that usual time of 11:30 till 4. And Erica from My Vinyl Revolution, great to be talking to you again.
Oh, same with you. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
Now, we are kind of a couple of weeks past Record Store Day. What a beautiful day that is.
It's full on, isn't it? Especially if you've got a few record stores to visit, or you know, that kind of tour on the day to find the record that you're after.
Is it Record Vinyl Geeks Christmas Day?
It pretty much is.
Yeah.
It is, yes. Yeah. I know this year a lot of stores didn't take part in Record Store Day, but that doesn't mean that people shopping for records didn't get their records in one way or another. So there's the whole physical, lining up and going into the shop and seeing if your shop that you're at has got that record, and that's so exciting. It really is. But a lot of the Record Store Day titles that you might be after will still be around. And that's, I think, a really good reason why we're talking about Record Store Day titles. There's some amazing ones that came out. Oh, yeah. Did you partake in Record Store Day?
I did. I got a couple of crackers. I mentioned in the last couple of episodes about that band, that psych band from Sweden called Goat. They dropped a 7-inch collaboration with another group. Of course, Light as a Feather is what the song got. Just a 7-inch. There are 2 songs on it. And it's got Light as a Feather and then another collaboration with Graveyard, who did a song. And it's a great little purple 7-inch with great. They do great cover work as well, psychedelic cover work. I got that 7-inch, and in my hot little hand, I managed to swing a copy of Post Malone's Nirvana tribute show during lockdown.
Nice.
Yeah, and I listened to it on last Saturday, and that guy is so talented. He is so talented.
Oh, wow.
I've seen him live. He opened for the Chili Peppers. I went to both Chili Peppers nights in Sydney. The last time they were here, he opened, and I was right up there. And I didn't know too much about Post Malone. I'm working, obviously, commercial radio, so we hear a lot of it. But you hear it, but I was actually listening to it this time. And what he did with that Nirvana set, which is endorsed by Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl too, by the way, outstanding. I would love to see a tour. So I know he's a busy man, and obviously Grohl is with Foo Fighters. Would love to see a tour where Post Malone was with the Nirvana boys doing a show. They did Smells Like Teen Spirit for the 50th anniversary of Saturday Night Live, which was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just great. It's just great.
Wow. What do you think of Post Malone's country album? F1 Trillion, I think it's called.
Haven't gone there yet. I've heard the single, but haven't gone there yet. What do you think about it?
I'm not into country, full stop. So for artists like Post Malone and Beyonce to be going country, I kind of have to get out of my own way and go and take a listen. And I actually really like it. It's vintage Post Malone. I mean, he's going in a different direction, but it's still him and it's still his vision. And I really like that he features collabs with several major country music stars. I mean, he's an American artist, so, country's in the blood. And, he features a range of country artists on this album, but it's modern country.
Yeah.
So, artists like Tim McGraw, Hank Williams Jr., Morgan Wallen,
big names,
Blake Shelton, Dolly Parton,
wow,
Jelly Roll, Sienna Farrell, she's amazing. Chris Stapleton, he's not my favorite, but he's quite popular in Australia.
Yeah,
he's got and 3 solo tracks. He's doing 3 of his own solo tracks on the album, so it's kind of almost like he's spanned into the new genre, and he's like, hey guys, I'm leaning on my friends, and I'm also seeing if I like it.
That's
what I see
well.
his new album is.
But if there's anyone who can do it, it's Post Malone. He has that creative freedom.
Correct.
He's got the runs on the board, and he can just do it. I'll do a country album, and he'll bring in all the heavyweights and have fun with it. And that's the thing. He's at that point now where he's taking on different projects, opposed to what you've kind of expected from him in the past. That's why I might, fingers crossed, there might be some kind of Nirvana thing happening. It'd be great if he did they did a world tour. Again, that'll just be nuts. But he's just talented. He's got a great rock voice as well.
Yes.
He'd just cover all genres. He's just that guy. And it would be great to see him just doing future projects of just different genres. And he is the guy, he's the gatekeeper. He'll introduce a whole new audience to country music now.
That's right. That's right. Well, we were watching a YouTube series on the origins of country music, and as deep into my genre research as I think I am, I can always learn more. And
Yeah.
I was listening and thinking to myself, wow, country music is actually aligned with the history of pop, the history of rock. It's all pervasive.
Well, Elvis.
And then I was thinking, yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not, not straight country. It's, there's alt country, there's Americana. So classic artists like Leon Russell, that kind of funky Atlanta, Alabama country style, and Alan Toussaint, so funk country.
Wow.
If that's even a genre, I don't know. Maybe I just made that up, but it sort of crosses over to a lot of different genres, and the influence is huge.
Absolutely.
I knew a guy who used to do engineering for Nashville artists. And at the time he said, oh, I love country music. They helped me buy my first house.
Wow.
It's like, what? And then I realized that it is a huge industry in America.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't it be popular here? We have the same kind of environmental pushes. But for me personally, I like alt country. I like artists like Graham Parsons, Flying Burrito Brothers, and that kind of vintage of country, psychedelic country, and how it flows into modern artists. Yeah, well, hang on. I'll have to think about artists who would be taking that mantle on now. I don't know, maybe the OCs, maybe a little bit of King Gears, but that psychedelic overlay, and that goes into like country folk, which also is a genre that I never thought I'd be into because, for me, it's all about the beats. But it's an interesting genre from the idea point of view as well as the lyrical and the musical content point of view.
Speaking of beats and country, you may have heard of this. It's a famous one, obviously very late to the party, but discovered Malcolm McLaren and that famous Duck Rock album. I got my hands on a second-hand copy, and that has just blown my mind. I love his cut and paste collage, a musical collage, if you will, with hip-hop beats and samples and radio samples in America, which is brilliant, and all the scratching and stuff. But then there's a couple of tracks towards the back end there that have country influences. It's great.
He's
It's a party. It's a party.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And he introduced a whole generation hip hop, and he mashed up the style as well.
Oh.
I mean, he's actually, I call him a maverick and a maven as well, because he kind of takes the best elements of a genre and puts it all together. And Duck Rock is exactly that. That's like early 80s, right?
Yeah, it was like 83. Dylan Lewis, the great Dylan Lewis, introduced that to me, and it was just... so grateful because it's just exactly what the doctor ordered, and probably 2 years ago it wouldn't have made sense to me. But I probably needed the 2 years to get to that place where I love these artists that are just so creatively free and doing, like I call them, like little collages of music, and it's inspired me to do the same now. I'm doing a lot of. I've been an instrumentalist, and it was the other day I had a few tracks that I've already created that are kind of lounge, chill, guitar-sounding things, and I was scratching over them and then finding ways to incorporate these into the mixes now to just go out there, and it's all inspired by Malcolm McLaren. And another one that I'll drop, again, very late to the party. To me, I'm like, I've just discovered this new group, but they've been around for a long, long time. Mochiba, Big Calm. Wow, where's that been all my life? That Big Calm album, that's probably one of the top 10 albums of all time in my world now.
And I think it has been over time as well. It is a classic album. That was, I mean they were mainstream in their day. Like
Yeah.
that album, Big Calm, that was from, I think that was like their second album.
99.
Late
Yeah.
late 90s,
Yeah.
yeah. And it reached the top 20 of the UK albums chart.
Yeah. They're
So,
actually
you know,
about to
it's
do
a,
another album out this year.
oh, really?
Yeah, they're all
Oh,
back
I hope
together
it's
again.
like,
Yeah, she's come back, and I've heard bits and pieces already just off Spotify, but I'll jump on that vinyl for sure.
well, if you're into trip hop, then Mochiba's a great place to start investigating. And if you want to buy an album on vinyl and you're not really sure what the whole album encompasses, then that's a really smooth listen.
Which one's that?
Big Calm by Mochiba.
Oh, yeah, the one we were just talking about. Yeah, so I've got the limited edition red vinyl, and it just has different elements, and it's a journey, and that's what I love. If it's a journey, but you have like a Malcolm McLaren record, which is a party, and then almost like a Beastie Boys vibe too, which they kind of obviously would have been inspired by. But just a journey which takes you through it, and that's the beauty of vinyl. You put a record on, and you just sink in, and it just takes you away, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It does. And the beauty about Record Store Day is that they are often releasing albums and titles that either haven't had a release before, or they're focusing on a specific type of release from classic releases so that people can re-experience the artist or re-experience the genre. So some of the titles that I looked across for Record Store Day and that we ordered in, you're never guaranteed on getting the titles that you ask for because there's a lot of demand. But artists, classic artists like Fleetwood Mac, Cyndi Lauper, soundtracks like The Neverending
Yes.
Story,
Yes.
they came in different formats and different colored vinyls. So, for example, The Neverending Story, it's an awesome movie. It's a very 80s movie. This time round, it's been released for Record Store Day 2025 as a limited edition Starlight vinyl. So if you hadn't heard the soundtrack before, it's actually pretty good, but it's more of a link to the memory of the movie. And so buying it on, sparkly vinyl is such a great idea. And it's also a classic.
It is.
And The Virgin Suicides, do you know that soundtrack to the movie?
No.
Oh, do you know the movie itself?
No, I don't.
Oh my goodness. This is a classic 1999 film, which had, who's the lady on the front? Kirsten Dunst is the lead actor in the movie, and it revolves around, the story revolves around a group of guys who become obsessed with the girls of a conservative family. So the director is it's Sofia Coppola, and it was released in the year 2000 in Australia. But the soundtrack is unbelievable.
I'm going to write that down.
Really, really cool.
Let's talk more soundtrack next in the next episode. I've got a great soundtrack that I got my hands on as well, which took a year to arrive.
Really?
From the States, yes, and I'll mention that one next. Of course, we're doing it all for my Vinyl Revolution Record Fair happening at the Capital Brewery Co. in my favourite place, Dairy Road in Fyshwick, is the best place to be if you live in Canberra. The chills, the coffee, the vibes, the smells. Let's talk again on the next one, Erica.
Will do.